Hello, and welcome to Creator Weekly Live for October 22nd, 2023. Welcome to everyone who is here live. I'm Peggy Kay, and today I'm going to be talking about updates to YouTube, AdSense, Twitch, and more. So, first, I want to say that this is a 2-week update because last week I was in London at the Google Product Expert Summit, which was fantastic. I have a lot to share about that. I think I maybe need to make a video. I was going to say we got some cool swag. Let me show you. This is an Android figurine. It's a Beefeater, very London appropriate. And if you are on social media, you can go to the PE Summit 23 hashtag to see images. Let me just see if I can call some up. So first of all, if you follow the Google Product Expert Program Twitter account, they had some announcements. You can see the first day we had general sessions about Bard, Google's work for responding to crises like floods, Fitbit, YouTube, and Google Nest. After those sessions, we had smaller breakout sessions. So we met in smaller groups with various product teams to talk about various things. I was fortunate to have sessions about AdSense, YouTube Meet, and some other things. Really exciting. Of course, I can't share any of that information, but it was a fantastic experience. And of course, I took tons of photos. I haven't sorted through them yet because I just got back a couple days ago. I'm starting to sort out the images here in Google Photos. One of the things that was really fantastic was seeing other Google product experts in person, some of whom I've known for years and years. Others I was meeting for the first time. It was great. I got to go to an ancient pub, which I guess is a requirement when you go to London. The pub was older than the United States. Pretty amazing. So one of the things I wanted to mention, getting started with the updates. Let me quickly switch here. One thing you may have noticed is up in the right-hand corner, there's a notice that says skip passwords for faster sign-in. I'm going to say not now. But if you have been on Google in the past week or so, and I imagine most of you have, Google is really, really pushing people to set up passkeys. The idea is that the passkey is a device. Like I have a passkey set up on my phone for my Google account. And instead of entering a password, I instead use my phone. So I'm signing into Google. It says use the passkey. It then sends a notice to my phone where I'm signed into my Google account, which I then unlock. And that is all I need to do. I don't need to enter a password. So Google wants you to try that. If you see that notice, it's supposed to be more secure. The main concern that I have with it is that if you lose your passkey device, you can lose access to your account. So be sure you have alternative methods to sign in if you set this up. Okay, let's see what else was new the past 2 weeks. And one of the cool things that Google launched this week, I think it was this week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was more than a week ago, is the option to generate images in Google search. So if you are using Google's search generative experience in Google search, and you are in the United States, at least 18 years old, and using Google in English, you can now have image prompts right in Google search. So I'll show you what that looks like. So here I did a search for draw a cat wearing sunglasses and drinking a cocktail. So you need to do a search that triggers the generative AI option. You can see Google has generated several cat images. You can then select an image and it gives you more information. So you can have a more specific prompt, like a photorealistic image of a British short-haired cat wearing sunglasses and drinking a mojito. That is obviously really specific. So if I wanted more images like that specific cat, that's a prompt I could use. You can edit the prompt. And then you can export by either downloading or adding it to Google Drive. And let me switch back. So this is pretty cool, fun to play with. Google says that there should not be any copyright issues with images generated using their tools. And they also say specifically that when you generate an image using their AI, it has metadata embedded in it that would indicate that it's AI generated. So if you then share it to another platform where that information is supported, it will know it's an AI generated image. This is a new standard that I believe Google, Adobe, Microsoft, maybe other platforms are working together so that people can know when an image has been generated rather than being a photo taken. So all that said, there's more generative AI updates this week. Oh, and let me just mention really quickly that Google says that at least if you are a customer, Google Cloud customer, Google Workspace customer, if you end up with a copyright issue with any of the AI generated content, that they will assume responsibility for any potential legal risks. So they seem pretty confident that there won't be any legal images with a generative AI. That's both text and images. That makes it a little bit less risk potentially, but I think it's sort of a whole new area where it hasn't really been tried in court. We haven't really seen what's going to happen with all this generated content if there's going to be legal issues. Alrighty, so The next thing I wanted to talk about really briefly is that this week was Adobe Max 2023. This is their big event where they announce new things. They have some really, really cool updates to their AI tools. The first is that Firefly, which is Adobe's generative AI tool for creating images. A new Adobe Firefly Image 2 model has much improved image quality, especially generating images of people. This isn't a people, obviously, but you can see it's really like a photo quality image. The other really cool thing is that you can use this new generative match option so that you give the system an image and say, please generate new images in the same style. So that's especially good if you're working on a project and you want everything to have the same kind of look, or you have an idea for an image and you want it to look a specific way. You can give it reference material and it should generate new images with the same look. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that they are introducing generative AI in Adobe Illustrator. This is powered by the new Firefly vector model, and these are vector graphics. So the idea is that you're going into Adobe Illustrator, you generate this image, and because it's a vector graphic, you can edit the image itself. So it will have little points that you can adjust and so forth. This is really an amazing tool for creators, and it really, instead of sort of generating something that's the final image, what it lets you do is generate something that you can then work with to create your own image and so forth. So I think this is all really pretty amazing. Over on Twitter, there's been a lot of people posting images created with the updated Firefly model. You can access that at firefly.adobe.com. And it's really pretty incredibly photorealistic. So now I'm going to switch gears completely to some updates on YouTube. YouTube announced a whole bunch of updates for viewers mainly, but I think if you're a creator, this also touches on you as well. I recommend that you read the article. If you need a link, check the description of the live stream here. I have a link to my newsletter. You can subscribe to get it into your email inbox every Saturday, and it has a link to the latest edition with all of the information I'm talking about today and more. So, talking about YouTube's updates, there's a bunch about viewing, but one of the cool things I wanted to talk about is an update to the library tab. The library tab in YouTube is where all your stuff is. That's where you find your history, your viewing history, your playlists, clips, all these things. And they're redesigning it so it's a little bit easier to navigate. You can see before and after in this image. In the after, you see there are little buttons at the top where you can switch accounts or go incognito. You can easily see your history and playlists and all of that information all on the same page. There's a really neat update where you can do a search for a song by kind of humming or singing. And the update that I think is really cool is what they're saying is animations to celebrate meaningful moments. The system is going to detect when a creator says, please like my video, or smash that subscribe button. And when they do that, it will automatically highlight the button. So you can see in the image here, it has sort of sparkles, and I think it really will encourage people to click. You say, please subscribe, and then it highlights the subscribe button. So I think that's kind of a neat update. There's a bunch more. I recommend you read the entire article for all the details. If you're a YouTube partner, there's also an important update for adding YouTube shopping items. Right now, if you go in and tag products for your videos that you're promoting, you can now add timestamps. So the idea is that you will be able to have the thing that you're promoting pop up on your video at a very specific time. That's a pretty neat tool to promote it, and I'll mention that. It is kind of important because another change that YouTube announced is that their YouTube shopping product shelf on mobile is going to be a lot harder to find. This started on October 4th, and the idea is that the product shelf on mobile, it was immediately under videos, is actually now showing ads, and the product shelf, there's not really a shelf, it's the products are listed in the description of the video. They say that this is going to be an increase in revenue for creators because ads will be there. But if you're promoting particular products and you want to be sure people see them, it makes it much harder for viewers to actually see. And it's kind of an interesting thing that YouTube is pushing this. I'm not sure how much creators actually earn from promoting products. Obviously, the kinds of videos I make aren't really as amenable to that as if I was doing reviews of cosmetics or electronics or whatever. Oh, and so if your channel is in the YouTube Partner Program, then check the Earn tab. If you go there, there's a shopping tab. It will tell you if you're eligible to have shopping products and how to set that up. All right, and I want to say thanks to everyone who's here live and chatting. I missed part of the chat because I didn't have it scrolled properly. I see you guys have been chatting amongst yourselves. I really appreciate that, and it's so good to see you here. And just another note, for AdSense publishers, this is going to affect both YouTubers and people who are monetizing their own website. Google is going to start collecting tax residency information for Singapore or for Ireland. It depends on who your AdSense account is contracted with. So my account is contracted with Google in the United States, so I don't have to enter this information. But if you're contracted with Google Singapore, which is probably the case if you are in Asia, you are probably going to have to submit tax residency information through Google. Google says that there are not currently withholding anything. This is more in anticipation of being required to have this information in the future. Craig says, I didn't think you saw the chat. Well, the answer is yes, I do see the chat. I'm currently using Talk Studio, formerly called Melon, and it does let me see the chat, but I'm just not that organized. There's a whole bunch of tabs, and sometimes I'm not that good at looking at the correct tab. So I can see what you're saying. The last major update I wanted to talk about is from Twitch. So this week was TwitchCon in Las Vegas, and they made a whole bunch of announcements. If you stream on Twitch, I recommend you read this information. It's a lot. They are talking about updates to clips and stories, but the one I want to really highlight is, if I can find it in. All right, way down at the bottom of the announcement, it says that they are updating their simulcasting policy. So back in August, they updated their simulcasting policy to allow simulcasting on what they called mobile-first platforms. These are platforms where the video is mostly vertical. And I guess people mostly view it on mobile, like TikTok and Instagram. They are updating their policy so that now you can simulcast to any live streaming service, including YouTube. So this is a big update. If you are thinking of doing that, you should read all of Twitch's guidelines, because while they say you can do it, what they really want to be sure is that it's kind of Twitch first. So zoom in. What they want creators to do is to ensure that the quality of the Twitch user experience with the simulcast is no less than the experience on other platforms or services, including by your engagement with the Twitch community, for example, via chat. So it sounds like what they want is for you to be sure that you aren't just blasting out your live stream to all these platforms and that not really engaging with people on Twitch. And it says you shouldn't provide links or direct your community to leave Twitch. And this one sounds a little tricky. You should not use third-party services that combine activity from other platforms or services on your Twitch stream during your simulcast, such as merging chat or other features to ensure the Twitch community is included in the entirety of the experience of your live stream. I have no idea how that's supposed to work on practice. I would imagine that most creators who are simulcasting to multiple platforms use some sort of service where they can look at all the comments, the chat, all in one place. So I don't know how that's supposed to work exactly. Excuse me just a moment. Okay, so those are the big updates for video creators. The last update I have is that if you are a blogger and you use WordPress.com as your platform, the ActivityPub plugin is now available, even to free accounts. ActivityPub lets you interact with the so-called Fediverse. That would include platforms like Mastodon. And the idea is that people can follow you, and your blog would become a Fediverse profile. So people in the Fediverse can follow your blog on whatever platform they're on. If they respond to a post like on Mastodon, it shows up as a comment on your blog, and I think vice versa. So that is kind of cool, I think. I love the idea of the Fediverse, at least, where instead of there being all of these separate individual platforms, each in its own conversation. So you have X here, and you have Threads, and you have Blue Sky, and Instagram, and all these things. The idea is with the Fediverse is they can all interact with each other so that you can be on your favorite platform and still follow people who are mostly posting on another platform. I think it will be interesting to see if Threads, which is Meta's Instagram-linked Twitter-ish platform that is supposed to get ActivityPub support, when they do, that's going to be a real test of the system and see how well it works when there's a much larger platform involved. So those are the updates for this week. There was a lot. I didn't talk about everything because there's just too much. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the welcome home. It's probably going to take me another week to recover from traveling. I used to be able to go without sleep for long times, and not anymore. So I'm really excited. I'm planning to make a little video short about my trip once I get everything together and sort through all the images and videos and so forth. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next week, same time, same place.